Hello everyone. We at Synapse QA are back with the 8th episode of Supervoice, which is the first reality show in testing space. This is the final competitive round before the finale. Yes, we are so close to the grand finale. We'll talk about the finale, the prizes, and how our lovely audience can get involved towards the end of this episode. But today, we'll focus on the playoff rounds. In this round, our contestants will be talking on the theme process and approaches and leadership in testing. Let's start with a huge shout out to our amazing sponsor, Uilicious, for trusting our vision and supporting us. Uilicious is a low code tool for automating tests for your web applications across browsers. Their philosophy is test user journeys, not HTML. You can write tests that are easy to read, easy to understand, and easy to maintain with Uilicious. Try it out.
Welcome to Uilicious. Today I will demonstrate how you can automate testing for your web application using Uilicious. The first step is to register a new account, then create a new project. Within our new project, let's create our first test. Writing a test in Uilicious is easy. It's like writing a user story. Anyone can write a test in Uilicious, even if you don't know how to code. Our philosophy at Uilicious is test user journeys, not HTML. Let me show you. First, let's go to the website we want to test. Then, fill the search field with the product we are looking for. Press enter to submit the search. Make sure I see the product we want. Then click on View Details. Click Add to Cart. And finally, let's ensure that I see a success message on the cart page. Let's run our test. Now, let's select our target browser. Uilicious supports all major browsers. Let's select our resolution. There are options for standard desktop, tablet, and mobile resolutions. And run the test. You can see the results of your test on the right. Uilicious will take a screenshot every step of the way to show you what is going on. And that's how simple it is to automate tests with Uilicious. Write tests that are readable and can be easily maintained by anyone in your team. Sharing the test results and comments. You can share the test results with your team and stakeholders as an interactive slideshow or a PDF. You can also annotate the report and write comments to describe issues more clearly. Now that we have created our test, we can schedule it to run automatically instead of manually pressing the run button all the time. Click on the schedule button to create a job for this test. Select the browsers and resolutions to run your test with. Set a schedule to run your tests as often as you need. Anytime, any day. Uilicious never sleeps. Uilicious will never complain either, unless a test fails. Email and webhook notifications can be configured to alert you when a test fails. You can monitor the status of your jobs on the Monitoring tab. Selecting a job reveals its history of test runs and associated reports. And there we go. That's how easy it is to write a test in Uilicious and set up a job to continuously test your web application. Testing is a piece of cake with Uilicious.
You might be wondering, who am I? All decked out for Diwali? I am Kika, your fabulous host for the day. I am super excited to be here and to welcome you all for today's episode. Give it up for our esteemed panel of judges. They are pioneers and industry leaders in testing space. We are super lucky to have them here with us today. Um, and let's start with the lovely Lena, who I have had the pleasure to meet face to face recently and get a warm hug in person. She's an incredible leader and a lovely human being, along with dozen other things, being an author, creator, blogger, international speaker. Lena, is there anything else which you can't do? You're like the superwoman. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much. I've been actually fixing up my house and building IKEA furniture, so that's also something I can do now.
Wow, look at that. That's another tool in your arsenal now. Any thoughts on Supervoice so far?
I think it has been such an amazing experience. I hope it's been for like your organizers and the contestants as well. But being a judge has been like a pleasure, and I'm happy to do another round today.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We are excited to have you here as well. Thanks, Lena. Moving on to our next judge, who is also a superstar and inspiring leader in testing space, is Ajay. I think,
Hello.
Ajay, we have been speakers at the same conference, and I've found your talks very insightful. From how you carry yourself, I feel like you are a man with a purpose and as someone who values your time and others' time equally. I really respect that trait of yours. So, welcome, Ajay. How
Thank you.
is
Thank you very much, Rika.
how's
Yeah.
your thought on the competition so far?
Competition so far very good. It's just that today is India Pakistan, and it's difficult to juggle between India Pakistan match and judging this. So yeah, both the tabs are open. So
Oh, okay, yeah. So, as I said, perfect use of time. Yeah, you are like multitasking even here. And we have like Diwali celebration and we're all decked up because of Diwali. So a happy Diwali to folks who are all celebrating it as well.
right, right. Happy Diwali to everyone.
Okay, thank you, judges, and we'll come back to you once the contestants have done their bit, and we'll look for your comments. So the first contestant for today is going to be Rahul. If you are a tester and follow what happens in the community, then you would definitely know Rahul and his mind maps. So if you don't know him, look out for his for all sorts of like LinkedIn handles and everything because Rahul is has got Rising Star Award. I think he's a recent star, but whatever, he's got the Rising Star Award and the Jerry Winberg Testing Excellence Award too. So over to you, Rahul. Rocket.
Thank you. Yes, and thanks for this lovely introduction. Excited for this, and this is a festive week going on, so all pumped up with energy. Okay.
Cool. So over to you. Take it away.
So, hello everyone. Happy Diwali to everyone listening into this talk. Welcome to the third round of Synapse QA Supervoice. And as the theme for this round is processes and approaches in testing, today I would be talking about a topic around healthifying quality software delivery. The title of my talk is QCSD, and I would be talking about four E's of this QCSD based on my own personal four E's, that is, experience, experiments, exploration, and execution. So, hello everyone. I'm Rahul Parwal. I work as a senior software engineer with IFM Engineering in India. Testing is what I find exciting, and I love to read, write, and practice the craft of software testing. So, before I start talking about QCSD, I would like to talk about one of the most precious things that we all have in our lives, that is health. So, health is undoubtedly the most precious thing in our life and in everybody's life, but yet it is often the most ignored thing. A lot of people don't realize the true value of health until and unless they start losing it. And once they start losing it, sometimes it gets too late to realize. It's not that taking care of health is very hard, but the conscious thought of looking and taking care of health comes pretty late for most people. As Josh Billings put it, health is like money. We never have a true idea of its value until we lose it. If we search around health on the internet, we will find things like medicines, prescriptions, organic food, fruits, vegetables, doctors, consultations, gym equipment, and so on. And as we all know, all these things are very easily, readily available today to almost everybody. But still, people are not healthy. If we look at the stats by Science Daily, 95% people in this world today are suffering from some form of health problems, be it some kind of physical health issue, mental health issue, some kind of anxiety issues. But people are suffering from one form or other of health issue. Another alarming fact is one third of this number suffer from more than five ailments at a time, five or more, which means every third person is suffering from a serious health issue. And that's a very big challenge. That's a very big problem and an alarming condition for this entire world. So, what makes this so difficult? Let's understand it by looking at the definition of health. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being. So, health is not just medicines, health is not just doctors, health is not just access to some diagnostic test, but it is a state where all the three physical, mental, and social components are balanced. And you balance them through a healthy lifestyle by consciousness, by consciously taking decisions, by exercise, by well controlled diet, balanced diet, mental health, and so on and so forth. So it's not just one thing that you have to do, but it's a lifestyle that you have to lead very consciously. Now, why I started my talk with health is because the health of our software industry, the software deliveries, the software development cycle is also in a very similar state. If you look at the stats, as per the CPSQ report, that is the cost of poor software quality for the year 2020, in the US alone, the average project failure rate is 19%, which means that every fifth project fails because of poor software quality. Now, another interesting fact to note is that these are just the figures from the reported failures, but there are a lot more failures that happen and are not reported. And these losses come up in trillions. And this is just the report of US alone. So if we calculate it for the whole world, these numbers are pretty huge. And as they say, the motivation for improving quality or for improving anything always starts with the cost of quality or the cost that you have to pay if you don't meet that thing. And keeping that in mind, let's start and understand what quality actually is and why it is also so hard to achieve, just like health. So, being a systems thinker, I see quality as some interaction of people, product, and project. So, quality of anything is not just the quality of the product, it also depends on the quality of people who are building that product and the quality of the project or the environment in which those people are working those product, in which those people are collaborating to create something new. And as they say, I mean, quality cannot exist without humans. I mean, quality doesn't exist in a non-human vacuum. And every statement of quality is essentially a statement about some person's thought, belief, or expectation or value for any person in a specific context. The thing to note today is that despite everybody striving to create quality products, most decisions around quality are either taken in an emotional manner, they are either political, which are directed by the cost, the value, the pressures, or they are just taken in at a subconscious level. And often, a conscious discussions around quality doesn't happen at all. And today, my topic is on the same lines of consciousness for quality software delivery. And I want to talk about this topic of quality conscious software delivery. This is a model that is by Lith Kumar Bhamre, and I first got to know about it through a conference, that is TestFlix 2020. And the first time when I read this topic, when I took notes on this topic, the idea of this quality consciousness and how you can build quality software through a quality consciousness, this idea stuck around with me. I started to read it in detail. I started with certain blog posts and certain discussions with people around it. And then this year, the same topic won the Eurostar Best Paper Award. And then again, I went into deep dive of this. And the essential aim of this QCSD is that we make delivery of quality products by quality conscious people using quality empowering processes. So three things to focus on: quality products by quality conscious people using quality empowering processes. And if we can do that, we can certainly bring in quality to the software delivery. Now, coming to the notion of quality, and we were discussing that quality is not just one thing. Quality is a sum interaction of people, product, and project. And I like this analogy given by Lalit by the quality tree model, which talks about three important notions. First, the project notion. Second, the people notion who are building the product. And third is the product notion. So the project notion of quality actually talks about the environment in which you're making the things, the support from the management, from your leaders that you get in your project, the organization's view of quality, and the collaborative work processes. By people, I mean the team who's working on it, like the developers, BA, testers, product owners, and their skills, their mindset towards quality. And by product, I mean the design thinking aspect of products, the systems thinking, the quality criteria that matter to the product, and have we discussed that? The various kind of coverages, are we doing that? And the testability. So based on this quality tree model, I also see certain experiences that we started doing at my organization level, and some of the things that we already used to do, and we have enhanced that at our organization level. And in this talk, I'll talk about all these three in detail. So the first notion of quality, that is the project quality. So the project quality talks about processes, environment, support, culture, collaboration, communication, and agility. And certain things that foster this is the management support, the kind of tools and trainings that is available, or the mindset, quality culture, collaboration, and so on. For this, after reading about quality consciousness, one thing that we did from the start of this year is to initiate Q talks in our organization. And by Q talks, what we did was we started inviting people from other organizations who are quality leaders, who are champions, and we invited them to talk about their context and how they achieved quality in their context, and what are some lessons, what are some mistakes that they did, and what are certain things to take care of. And it initially, it started like a movement of people openly talking about quality and their view on it, and followed by certain workshops like engineered luck, like where we focused on how culture and collaboration and support can actually engineer the luck or the quality for you. Similarly, we have one more initiative that we used to run always, that is the Tech Fest. So Tech Fest is actually a platform that we had at an organization level, where we used to invite teams and different teams where they can talk about their quality journey within our organization and share or cross pollinate ideas across quality or around quality, and talk about the different quality attributes that they have achieved and what value does it gives to their customers. And this also boosted a lot for the individual project qualities, because a lot of discussions actually start at this level. And an important point to note is that as an organization, I mean, if your understanding of the value of quality is high, or the organization already understand it, it will directly proportionally impact the quality consciousness of the people working on it. So I mean, if the culture and environment is right, it aids to the overall quality. To draw an analogy, I mean, if somebody was already fit and they just got a minor disease, I mean, it's very easy to cure them through some minor treatment, because the environment of the body and the patient was right. So that's part one. The part two is people quality, which talks about the knowledge, skills, mindset, attitude, collaboration, and communication. Software is essentially built by people, and for enhancing the people quality, there are certain things that we have been doing, and I want to focus on them. So first is having workshops within organization for fostering skills and mindset of what quality is, of how to think like a tester, how to collaborate with developers, how to work as a whole team, how to have that mindset of consciousness, how to avoid some common pitfalls, followed by certain game storming exercises and collaborative workshop kind of sessions. For example, liberating structures, and we use liberating structures to make people more included in common activities. For example, we did one activity where we questioned that how to add value to your organization, and everybody came up with their solution. And eventually we compiled and we shared that how, if we all work, we can gather so many possible ideas in so many different categories. And similarly, we started constantly doing team retros. So team retro is something that we used to do, but it was not very frequent. But then we decided on a fixed frequency. We started doing it. The important point was that people started coming on a platform where they can talk about their idea of quality, where they can talk about what works for them, what doesn't works for them, what is totally not going good, and how we can all collectively find solutions for that. So that again boosted into the collaboration communication part, followed by another platform that we opened within our organization, that is the learning and development platform, where anybody can ask to give a session on any kind of new knowledge, new skill, or any new discussion that they want to share. And they can invite people, or they can even request that I want somebody to talk on this, and then the team finds out people within organization. And there is a mutual learning, I mean, there is a mutual exchange of information. So these are some of the opportunities that we created within our organization for collaboration, and that essentially helped in boosting the people quality. So now the third notion of quality that I want to talk about is the product quality. And product quality, or by product quality, we focused on certain elements like the design thinking, the systems thinking, the quality criteria. Are we explicitly talking about that? And are we actually considering the product requirement or the customer requirement and the engineering requirement, and are they aligned together? Are we talking about the right coverages? Are we covering the right possibilities that our customers are actually spread across? And what about testability? I mean, are we discussing things that are making testing harder, slower, less valuable? So discussion on all these lines, we started to explore this through HTSM, that is the heuristic test strategy model by James Bach. And we started having pair discussions, pair sessions, where we used to put out points, and we used to discuss on specific points like quality criteria. So what all quality criteria matter to our context? Is it the capability? Is it the reliability? Is it usability? Is it charisma? And what are we doing for that? What are the test techniques that we should be doing? Or what are the coverages that we should be think of? Is it just the functional coverage, or are we also thinking about the platform coverage, or the timing coverage, or the interface coverage? So all those possibilities, I mean, we used to list them out. And this is just a very high level view of this HTSM, the heuristic test strategy model, but essentially it helps to ease out and talk more on the product quality just from the starting phase rather than assessing quality at the end. So these were the three notions, and how in my context I've been using, and I've been discussing in my team, in my organization for that. Now, the QCSD model actually talks about a 4E framework, that if you want to implement that, focus on these 4Es, and these 4Es are just 4 steps on how to do it, and then they are in a iterative model where the first step followed by second, third, fourth, and you again go back to the first. So the first step is to enable the people and project for quality. So that's like setting the starting ground. Enable the people with the right mindset, right skill, right culture within your organization, because if the culture is not right, I mean, somehow the quality practices are going to be sacrificed. So first you have to enable that. You have to create opportunities to collaborate, like how we did in our context. For example, explicit discussions on quality criteria sessions or testability or on design. And I mean, how can we act early, how can we act small, and how can we discuss very early, or how can we essentially make the people and project more enabled for the quality. The only caution of advice is that don't try to make all the changes at once. I mean, small changes work well, but they have to be consistent. Just a change of 10% at a time is a very good way to get started. The second step after enable is engage. So after the project and people are enabled for quality and for the quality mindset and consciousness, engage them via actual pairing and collaboration sessions for discussing on coverage, on design, strategy, risk storming, for taking user interviews, for talking to sales, for discussing on product requirement, engineering requirement, and are they mapping together, what's going on. And I mean, for somebody, I mean, who has never done all these sessions and engagement, I mean, it might look that it will take a lot of time, but it's worth to invest that time, because it's always cheaper to do the right things at the first time instead of making something and then doing all these discussions at the end. And in short, I mean, it will be an active exchange of information, skills, perspective, and perspective from different backgrounds help a lot. Perspective from domain experts, perspective from testers, perspective from developers, bring them on one ground and exchange them with each other. The third step is execute. So this is the core main part. I mean, once the enablement and engagement is done, this is where the actual work happens. You have to execute with clean code, and not just the clean code for your application development, but also for your, for example, automation, for your test automation. Write testable code, do skilled testing, effective strategy, automating checks, and automating checks at the right layers, and identifying what all layers and who owns the responsibility doing that. Doing a continuous feedback using CI systems or models, so that you can get faster feedback, monitoring, alerts. So this is the main core part of execution. After you are done with execution, the last part is evaluate. So evaluate the evidences that you have gathered from enable, engage, and execute. And for evaluation, I mean, you can use engineering metrics. Different tools give different metrics that you can use. Know what's working for you, know what you have to improve the next time, know what's absolutely not working for you or what doesn't fit your context. Gather this data and just focus back on the enable, engage, and execute part. So that's kind of the 4E framework that QCSD talks about. We have been practicing it partly, and we have been trying to do this enable, engage, execute, and then, I mean, learning our own lessons. So there are some benefits that we definitely see by practicing this quality consciousness. And the first benefit is shared understanding, because when you pair, when you discuss things right from the design part, right from the customer requirements or the product requirement point of view, and both developers, testers, team sit together, I mean, the shared understanding increases a lot, and it actually saves a lot of time in the end. where testers know about a product after it is developed, and that actually adds or compiles a very big silo time of just a testing phase. So first, shared understanding. Second, better pairing and better collaboration. There are a lot of benefits of pairing and collaboration. I mean, you exchange skills, you even exchange ideas, and through pairing and collaboration, one great benefit that we get is that a lot of times I have got certain utilities, certain tools, or certain ideas from my developers on how I should do certain thing. For example, how to write clean code, and what kind of tool I can use to make the job easy and to eventually uh, focus and I mean deliver a quality product. So that's another benefit. The third is transparency and trust within the team increases a lot, and there is no blame games. I mean, people have a transparent culture. People talk about things openly, and the trust gets improved. Quality from design phase, that's another major benefit. I mean, because from my experience, I mean, quality just cannot come at the quality control stage. So at the quality control stage or at the testing stage, what you actually do is you find issues, you raise some change request, but you not embed quality in the testing phase. I mean, you have to, especially, I mean, if you care about quality, you have to introduce quality as a part of design. And that's something that started happening once we started doing all these things. And the last part is improved testability. To be very honest, I mean, before knowing about all this, I mean, I had never had some kind of active discussions on the lines of testability. But after this, I mean, I started discussing about testability, and the good part is that I mean, I also didn't got the testability on the very first day, but once you start talking about it, once you put the issues on the table, people understand it. And then, I mean, eventually in the coming cycles, I mean, things improve. I mean, next time when they create something, if they have a tool they directly offer to you, and there are discussions on how much developer time can we have, how much unit testing can we have, how much things can we expect. And testability is a big topic. It's like a golden wand for testers. So I mean, discussions around that again foster quality, again improves that. And essentially, I mean, as I said, this is just from the small steps that we have taken, and the journey is long. We know that the journey will teach us a lot, and we have to reiterate, improve, and move ahead. And as Lao Tzu says, I mean, the journey of 1,000 miles actually begins with one step. And I have taken that step. I am trying to practice it. I'm trying to take different uh, ideas from QCSD and trying to implement that. And I believe that if we all take these steps with consciousness, we can all easily healthify this quality software delivery, and the overall stats of the health of our software delivery can improve a lot. So that's all from my side. I want to thank my reviewers presentation, uh, Slides Carnival and Unsplash from where I've taken images. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
That was like wonderful. I was like completely hooked on to your talk from the start. So looks like you guys are doing a lot of wonderful things in your company. So and I personally use QCSD too. I think whenever I want a refresher, I go to Tea Time with Testers and have a look at it. And it's also a amazing thing that you're talking about a process or like a model which one of our judges have put forward. So it's nice to know that we have contestants and judges who are all in supervise and they are all doing wonderful stuff in testing community. So audience, if you are like watching, definitely go and check out QCSD model and Lalit's blog or his website as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cool. So can we hear it from the judges then? Cool. Lena, you want to go first?
With pleasure. Rahul, thank you. As usual, it's a pleasure listening to you. You're a great speaker. You communicate clearly. You take your breaks. You take your time getting the message across. I love the topic. I've heard about it, but I'm not as I didn't know about it in this detail, so that was great. If I if I think really hard to come up with something that I think could be improved, it would be there were a lot of great pieces, but I was sometimes missing a clear connection between them. You went from human health to software health, which was amazing, great, like switch over to the topic. Then you talked about the QCSD model, then you mentioned the 4E model, and then the benefits. And somewhere there, I felt like there could have been a smoother switch between the last three pieces. But overall, as usual, it was a great talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lena.
Okay, Ajay, your thoughts, please.
Right. So as the rounds are progressing, yeah, the judging is also a little tough. There are a few grammatical mistakes here and there, and maybe you change your style of presenting. Uh, if you are usually fast, no need to become slow. That's my thought. And the other thing is, you could have made this entire talk a little more tight. There was there was too much of information, and you could have told this in lesser time with better examples. That's what I'm thinking. Uh, it was somewhere like stretched to fill that 15 minutes, 20 minutes time. You could have made it even more crisper. Uh, yeah, that's it. But then, yeah, see, everyone knows you are a good speaker, and you have set a high standard for yourself. But then there's always one more level to beat, and I think this you take these suggestions, think over it.
Thank you, Ajay. And
Okay, thank you.
I'll certainly work on that. I mean, feedback is important. How to make it crisp, and I mean, both things. I mean, I really have to work on that. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, judges. I'm sure Rahul, you'll take all those comments and yeah, make something positive out of it. Next time, it will be even more robust and then more crisp and everything. So, all the best. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll be as a finalist, so you can work on the next talk in Supervoice itself rather than going out. Um, Thank you. Okay. So before you go, Rahul, how has been your journey so far? Because this is the final round before the grand finale.
So the journey has been something like what I had actually opted for, and whatever I thought before joining Super Voice, I essentially got that. I mean, I got a lot of ways on how to improve as a speaker, how to improve in making presentations, and I really wanted a lot of feedback that I get from the judges, and that has actually helped me to work and fine tune my skill. So that's amazing. The entire show, the organizing team is putting a lot of efforts, and we do some mock rehearsals and stuffs. I mean, rehearsal from point of view of review of slides and so on and so forth. So that's very helpful. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, wonderful to hear all these comments because then it kind of like makes us work harder and then bring in something new year on year. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and for your talks as well. So yeah, keep going. All the best for everything you do in future. Thanks,
Thanks,
Rahul.
Rika. Thank you.
Okay, so following Rahul, let's have our next contestant for the day. That is Trisha. Trisha is a software tester and a test automation enthusiast. She's also a Postman Supernova browser stack champion, among other things. So, Trisha, all all eyes on you, and we are all set to hear what you have to talk about today. All the best.
Thank you. Thanks for motivation, Kika. I appreciate it. Let me get started. Welcome, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about journey from setbacks to happy tea. I'm Trisha Chetani. I worked as a software tester for past 9 years. During my 9 years of journey, I worked on backend, frontend, and mobile testing. The theme of the talk was given by Synapse QA was about test process, approaches, and leadership. I chose test process improvement because it's done by leader. That's why I think my talk is more relevant. I would explain in this talk the test process improvement as a collaborative process in the team. How did we turn around and became more inspired to do more? I'll start with some of the challenges. Imagine if, like, there is a tester, there's a developer, there's a product owner, everyone in the agile team. You have done the retrospective, you have done the sprint planning, sprint grooming, sprint refinement, and you started working on the sprint. The day one, somebody comes and say, "Can you help me to test that particular production issue?" The day two, somebody else is coming and asking your help to test some unimportant task which became urgent for them. Day three, somebody else is coming and asking you the help to test or analyze the technical depth. The day four, somebody else is coming and asking your help that that particular team is affected. I need your help to collaborate and clarify. Day six, somebody else is coming and asking your help. Oh, this particular team member is moving on. I need your help. What happens to your sprint task? I know I've been into this situation and it becomes very frustrating. Imagine being in the situation wherein you need to do functional testing, user story testing, smoke testing, sanity testing, E2E testing, whatnot. And you will be in the situation, oh man, I don't have a time to do all this. How do I cooperate? Imagine and think about like why did you end up doing this? Because you didn't have a time to provide a correct estimation, or it could be because of the lack of analysis, or it could be unstable builds, or it could be some technical debt somewhere, or the lack of the agreement between all parties. And your managers come and say, "Why didn't you do that particular test? What do you do?" I know it's very annoying situation. I've been in that. Imagine being in the situation wherein your management thinks we don't need a testers in the team. One agile tester can do everything because their perception is testing is a very easy job. Anybody can test, anybody can do things. And it's all because there is no clear goals. Me being in a tester thinks, oh man, I'm having some fairy wand or something wherein I can do and all the bugs will disappear. Imagine being in the situation wherein you are not clear about the test process. Since you are not clear about this test process, your manager is asking you to retest some bugs, but you didn't end up doing that particular retest because you didn't have the access to the system. Since you didn't have the access to the system, you end up doing some other task which was allocated in the sprint. And you also communicated during the sprint that you don't have the access to the system, but your message didn't got that attention. Since your message didn't got that attention, the whole bug fixing process and deploying to the production uh, started becoming stuck. And since it became stuck, the sprint release also became stuck. And you became the center of the uh, person wherein who didn't collaborated well to finish this task. I know all the situation is very annoying. I'm I've been into that situation, but I'm going to share my experience on how our team became motivated and be in harmony. I'll start with anybody who is a new team member and joining the team. They should do some steps so that they can collaborate more and they can achieve that collaboration and they can become more happiest person in the team. The first thing they can do is to understand the vision. What is the team is planning to do in the future? It could be the whole team responsibility, agile mindset, testing small, or it could be zero bugs. If there is nothing, they can talk to their manager and understand what their manager's goals are. If they don't know what their manager's goals are or manager is not having something, they can start with what is the core values of the company. And they can start thinking deeply. They can clarify the purpose of those core values with the manager and then they can define vision. I've personally not done this, but I've seen my manager doing this. I've somehow collaborated a little bit on this, and that's how I know about this. And I think it's a very good step to take. The second thing a new person can do, they can understand what's there and what's not there. They can understand why that particular thing is not there and what they can do about it. Or they can simply understand what their team members are doing day to day. If that is also not working, they can set up a one-on-one with every team members and ask questions like what are the challenges? What do they like most doing day to day? What they have achieved last month and they are proud of? What they did and they want to do in the team in the future? How could you help them? If nothing, you can ask about their roles, their responsibilities, and then you can start those conversations. It helps to understand how you can integrate better in the team. The next thing I would recommend is to understand the release process. The release process could be either in the checklist or in some documentation or somewhere it would be there. If there's nothing, then you can offer to pair up with some of the team members who is a part of or having a responsibility to drive that release process so that you can understand the whole thing, how the software delivery is working. If that is also not there, then you can ask questions like what is the process? Either it is manual, either it is automated. If automated, what percentage is automated? Which tools they are using to automate this? What are the language behind that? How long does each build takes? What are the jobs they are running? How they are running test? Either they are running the test on before the commit, after the commit, before merge, after merge, things like that. What happens if build fails? Who is accountable for that? What happens if the build does not merge? What happens somebody have not updated that particular configuration? What happens if there is a hot fix? Who will help and how the whole process goes again? I believe having the knowledge of this will really help a new person. The next thing for a new joiners, I think, is to understand the responsibility. There is a group of people who is doing something to achieve common goal, and responsibility is very essential to understand because it helps to clarify whom you can approach, whom you cannot approach. And there is a difference between responsibility and accountability. The accountability is a person who is result focused, but the person who is responsible for that task is task focused. Responsibility could be created when there is a new rules created, or multiple peoples are performing on the same role, or it could be the number of roles that are interacting with together. And you can have a conversation what they are expecting from you and how you can expect from them, what are the challenges, and what you are responsible for, and how you can collaborate. For a manager, when they think about responsibility, they think of what works need to be done. And for this work, what is the skill needed? And then assign the role and responsibility. For a person who is taking that responsibility, they need to think about is it that they really want that reveals their character? Are they will be really accountable for that? Will they be able to establish that trust between the team for if they have given been that? And what is their position of advancement? I believe having this steps there, if a new person they take through, then they will be integrated well in the team. They can contribute more, and then they can become a happiest member in the team. The next, I would say, given in a context, if there is a one tester in the team and he have been expected to do whole lot of extensive testing, then they can set up expectation with their manager, saying that they cannot complete whole task or whole set of testing. That expectation helps, and then they can think of prioritizing the task. So, for prioritizing the task, they can understand what is their deadline and decide what are the tasks which are most important, and then put those tasks in their calendar, and then set the boundaries like account for any distraction, getting help from different team, prioritizing one task at the time, and then take personal deadlines, things like that. And also think about considering the consequences. What are the risks around that? Once they have done this, then they can offer like how can they hire new people who can help them. Hiring for the people they can look for same experience, same language, or somebody who can fit into the team, or the person who is very self confident to do that particular task. Or I've read recently saying that the resume doesn't say anything, but you should look for extracurricular activities, wherein you will figure it out. A person who is saying that he is really good at photography. Do he have any photography skills online? He have shared. Most of the people doesn't do that. So the extracurricular activity, what they are showing in their resume is very important so that they can be trusted. Any good communication, collaboration, and the personal compatibility. Those are the things I would recommend from the hiring perspective, and they can hire the best resource to help them. Having a good common alignment helps to get the right expectation. Once they have the right expectation, they can collaborate more and become a happiest member in the team. I will recap from the agenda perspective I've completed till here now. Then I would go from how did I approach. So, having a common alignment, shared understanding, and using some techniques as a whole team becomes a collaborative process, and it helps to become team as a more aspired team, and which brings a positiveness in the team. For this, I'm going to share like how did we created a shared understanding. When I joined the team, my manager gave me a task saying that I need to collaborate with the data team, the BI team, the sales team, the marketing team, the C level team, everyone in the company. And while I'm collaborating with them, I should ask the question what does quality mean to them? What does testing mean to them? And everybody was having a different answers. Then that answers helped my manager, and then later we created a workshop to help them to understand what is the difference between quality and testing. And also, we came up with one goal, saying that this was a quality for everyone in the team, in the company, and that helped us to have the shared understanding across company. Later, we started doing a risk analysis. Risk analysis is something likelihood of occurring with adverse event which is occurring in the team. And when we started doing a risk analysis, we started with risk identification, then risk analysis, risk prioritization, and develop a plan and implement those plans and monitor around that. And it was a continuous process. I've seen a very good talk by Nishi Grover in the Ministry of Testing. She have taken each user story wherein she talked about what is the likelihood of this particular issue and how does it impact it and how much risk it can create and what is the extensiveness of this issue can occur, and that's how she have prioritized her task. And I really like that approach. I've been using that for my team for the couple of like days. Then I would say each test technique has its own context. A, a user story testing cannot solve the problem of regression testing because user story testing is done for customer satisfaction, and wherein we think about definition of done, definition of ready. But uh, regression testing is something different. Regression testing is wherein we make sure that uh, each new build is not causing a issue of regression from the previous builds. So every technique is having their own context, and that's why we need to do our deeper testing around all those different techniques. If we are not doing, we are missing those bugs, and it's very important to let this people know in your team, or else it would become very hard when there is an issue in the production. So that's why I feel like uh, having this like of each technique should be tested thoroughly, and or else it should be prioritized, or else it shouldn't be prioritized. If we have committed, we should do it thoroughly. What I came across after this is like if we are going deep, we are uncovering the hidden, and there is a chances to that if we do more, we become more happy because we are uncovering those hidden things. Now I'm going to explain about the techniques wherein we started spreading across the team, even the like department, and which helped us to become more trustable, more reliable, more approachable. So first was like we started onboarding different departments, and we started explaining them what we are doing day to day. It could be either using summary, either checklist, either some audio files, video files, any walkthroughs, any mind maps. That helped us. Then we started collecting feedbacks from the different departments, which helped us to grow more. The feedback was like any issues from the customers, or the feedback was like we could test something like this. So those were the real good feedback. And we also started gaining a product knowledge. It could be from the platform perspective or from the data, because when we were talking to the data guys, they were having a very easier way to create a data, future vision, functionality, foundations. What is the foundation of this particular product? Or from the user perspective. Then we started thinking about whole company approach, the collaboration across department. When we talked with sales and marketing department, we started understanding what is the purpose of our product, what makes our product success, what makes our product failures, how we can engage with actual user easier, not only when they are finding the bugs, but also on the day to day to see what they are doing. What does the product convey in the social media? What are the beliefs and what are the opinions of the people? Then we started using a techniques like bug bash or dog fooding. The bug bash is a technique wherein we actually collaborated with any new version of the software was releasing. We collaborated with sales, collaborated with marketing, data, BI, any people. They were coming and helping us to test, and we were finding the bugs earlier in the cycle. Dogfooding was a process wherein we actually asked people to use our own software before they want the user to use, and it was giving a really good insights. Then we started having a data analytics as one dashboard, one platform, and the dashboard which we created, it was an extremely low tech dashboard, so that even C level people can understand what it is conveying. Then we started thinking about how to articulate back to the management from the perspective of potential revenue. It could be a cost saving, like what is our risk mitigation we did, or it could be how did we actually stop those EC2 instances which were not used for a long time, and it saved on our infrastructure. Or we talked about, let's say, how many users we acquired in last quarter, active users, non active users, things like that. or we purchase some particular infrastructure from the testing perspective, and that helped us to not hire on the permanent role some testers. Or did we created a value to the customer? From the onboarding process, we created a user guides, engagement process. I explained you about like we collaborated with sales and marketing, and we also started collaborating with the users wherein they were not finding the bugs. We were just observing what they are doing, how we retained them, from the example saying that they wanted to go away, and we started helping them to find like fix the bugs earlier, or establishing the trust that this bug was happening because of this reason. How did we had the team productivity, like increase the team productivity? We started having lesser context switch, less rework, no additional sprint, which helped us to improve ourselves. Since we did all this, we became more trustable, more reliable, and our team became more in harmony. I'll just recap, and we are in the last process. I would explain about monitoring. Monitoring and reaccess is a very good thing any team can have for their test process improvement, because it helps in a way where whole company feedback is included, and it brings that the feeling in the team their idea was accepted. So we started understanding the problem in very deeper. We started doing 5 whys. Then we started collecting the ideas across department. We started identifying one owner and who can take this lead for this particular change, and they can make sure that this change has happened. Then we started having redesigning the process. Who can access the change? Who can authorize it? Who can review? Who can request the change? Then we started implementing it, doing a small POC and see does it work? If it is working, then we communicate across. Then we started having some KPIs across those change. And then we started having some feedbacks again with the team to constantly improve ourselves. This helped us to improve from the quality, time, productivity, cost perspective. I have explained numerous ways as we did for the collaboration work within the team. In turn, our team became more aspired to do more, and which bring more harmony in the team. I would give you an action challenge what you can do this week in your team to communicate more, to advocate more. I would give my thanks to Sam, Kalani, and Kritika Ganesan for giving me a feedback while shaping up this talk. And I'm open for the feedback.
Thanks, Trisha, for sharing your thoughts. I was able to like really relate to the slide where it said that like you don't need testers in the team, and then one tester can do everything. That's a real problem in the industry. So thank you. Now let's ask judges' comments. So, okay, let's start with Ajay. Do you want to share your thoughts?
Right. Talk Trisha, and you know, I'm so happy that you were convinced that okay, how to get out of those things, and yeah, I finally like the action slide as well, action challenge. So that's a very thing that you added. So yes, overall good talk, and yeah, all the
Okay, thank you, Ajay. Lena?
Yeah, Trisha, lovely talk. Congrats. I think you were energized. You used gestures. You had like a clear articulation. Your slides were clean and they were pretty looking. I also loved the challenge in the end. I think your story and your capabilities, your skills are much bigger than your voice. So I would like to suggest some voice training to like get some more power out of your voice, because I think that's the only thing I can think of that would make it even better.
Yeah, I think I would agree. and also like breathing, because you kind of like talk a lot and then afterwards you're like gasping for breath and it kind of like looks like that. So yeah.
I'll definitely try to improve on those perspective. Yeah, because I'm constantly talking, so I was actually feeling that I need more breathe. Even though I was pausing, but I was feeling that. So thank you.
Okay, so thank you, judges. Trisha, how was your journey with Supervoice? So what has Supervoice given you?
With Supervoice, I would say I'm really excited and really enthusiastic because I joined the Supervoice. Because with Supervoice, I got this journey of public speaking, but the constant feedback. Previously, I was not speaking so much and I was very afraid. But now I could say it confidently, saying that I can speak, I can shape up talk, I can deliver anywhere. Just a little bit more I could do as a judge's feedback. That's what I would say. But thank you. Thanks for giving this platform and thanks for helping us to shape up and become more better as a tester. So thank you for that. Thanks, Nithin.
Okay, thank you, Trisha. I hope you take all these feedback and then work on it, and then we'll see you somewhere in like speaking, even in-person conferences, and then you are able to do that voice projection and have wonderful slides and talk about it as well.
Sure,
You're there. Just work on it.
sure. Thank you.
Okay, before we proceed further, we have got news that India has won, and Rahul is saying that there are rockets in the sky at Jaipur, and looks like everybody in India are like celebrating not only Diwali but then the India's victory in the cricket game, the game which Ajay talked about when we were starting the session. Now we'll welcome, last but not least, the contestant of the day, Chinmayee. And Chinmayee is a software engineer, QA engineer who is passionate about testing and automation. And shameless plug for Supervoice. She has already started speaking in international conferences after joining Supervoice. So, Chinmayee, we are all super proud. And yeah, go get them, girl. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for such a wonderful welcome, Kika.
um, how are you today? All
I'm,
set?
do- I'm doing good and in a better mood after India won.
Yes, yes, yes. It's like the perfect stage for you now. Everybody is like, the energy levels are all high, and then we are all charged up to hear what you have to talk about today. Cool. So over to you then, Chinmay.
Thank you, Kika. Namaste from India. Good evening. I hope that you are all geared up for the Diwali celebrations. I wish you and your loved ones a very happy Diwali in advance. Coming to today's Super Voice topic, that is process approach and leadership, I have based my presentation on the famous Napoleonic adage, that is, a leader is a dealer in hope. Over the next 20 to 25 minutes, I would be sharing you the accounts of the people who have led by example in our own testing fraternity. These are the people and the real instances with whom I have worked closely in my journey. Having said so, let's have a quick glance on the themes and elements. So the themes and elements would be defining the leader. What are the true essence of the leader? What makes the characteristics that makes the leader stand out in the crowd? Who are the main characters in the presentation and what is their leadership instances? A quick recap to connect the dots, and then finally I would be concluding the presentation discussing some of the myths around leadership. Okay, so let's go by the definition of who is a leader. A leader is someone who is being uplifting, inspirational, and emotionally stable through hardships, and the midst of it, dealing out or in dealing with the relationships all around us. He or she creates a feeling of hope, expectations, joy, relief, a sort of light at the end of the tunnel. When Napoleon came up with this adage, it was an era of war, chaos, hardships, and uncertainties. People needed a leader who would motivate them to deal with the most difficult of circumstances. In a corporate world, a leader is someone who cares about the people, who is that beacon of hope that Napoleon is referring to, and they lead that of the people by example. He or she can lead a group of organization or activity trying to achieve the vision, mission, goals, and at the same time dealing with that of the business challenges and the adversities. Having said so, let's discuss about what are the true essence of a leader. I have tried to demarcate the true essence into the specialties and the skills. If I talk about what are the specials in a leader, it is like they step up at the time of crisis. They can think fast, can act quickly. They always are running out cheerful, positive words of encouragement for the team. They arise motivation and align people in their mutual goals and purposes. They have employee centered behaviors. They behave in a consistent and highly ethical and fair manner, aligning themselves to their principles and values. If I talk about what are the skills, they are strong communicators. And at the same time, they are the good listeners, which usually earns them the trust and the respect of the team. They establish a clear vision for the team, provide clear and credible information, and share it with others through the knowledge information. It is not that they stand on the pile of information and leak the information one and one, claiming that of the authority. Rather, they believe in share and care policies. With this, now let's move and talk about who are the main characters of the presentation. So I have chosen some of the accounts who stand out in various experiences across time. The first one is Emily. Emily works as a junior tester, having like 2 to 3 years of experience into the industry. Her strengths include she is a good team player, she maintains accuracy on the things that is given to her, she has a clear understanding of responsibilities, and one important factor is she empathizes with the customers. Sarah is the team lead. She has over a decade year of experience. Her strengths include that she is a continuous learner, she is flexible and open to change, and her strength is the collaboration culture. The third in the picture is Sam, the senior project manager, having like 2 decades of experience in the industry. His strengths include that he is aggressive, but aggressive here means in a positive manner. He is in the conquest of guarding the quality. He is creative, innovative, and as well as an excellent communicator. With this, now let's move on to the story of Emily. So, prior discussing about her challenges, let's first understand the ecosystem Emily works in. The system she works in is distributed, and because it is coupled with distribution, it is a little complex and has critical function. The application she works in is a hospital information system. Basically, a hospital information system will be maintaining that of the health records. It is something which stores, collects, and manages the EMRs, the patient EMRs, electronic medical records. I want you to go back to the memory lane and be at the place where in some time you had to visit the physician for some ailments. You are exactly at the point and where the receptionist is asking you to fill in the form. So what details do you fill in the form? It asks you about what are your personal attributes, like what is your sugar level like, what is the BP like, what is your blood group like, what is the age. It asks about if you are currently continuing with certain kind of medication. Did you have any major surgery in the recent past? Are you allergic to certain kind of the food? And it also asks about the food habit. So if I say this system for a layman is a system which is having lots of inputs and outputs together with that of the flows. Why do we fill in this information? Do you think that this is only for that of the recording purposes? No. It is because it gives the direction to the physician to go with that of the right way of the medication for the ailment. Then what were her responsibilities? Coming back, her responsibilities was validating the functionality of the unit, function, or the flow of the patient module. And the environment she is working in is constantly changing the dependencies and the requirements. So the system she works in has a coherent dependency, a lot of factors like drug to age, drug to food. Drug to drug, because if you are continuing with certain sort of medications, it might happen that the medications which will be prescribed to you, which is in contradiction to what it is currently following. Drug to food, if you are allergic to something, then that composition of medicine will be discouraged. Drug to age, because with that of the age factor coming into the play, then there would be restriction on that of the dosages of the medicine given to you. And that is where you have different departments for medical. So what exactly is the challenge that Emily is facing? So she needs to validate the holistic view. Holistic view because she has to come up with that of the coverage, because it is a little complex, and she has to ensure that every flow has been met or verified at least once. She has to ensure that the tests she performs are reliable and they are effective. And as because there are frequent test updates, she also has to think about an approach where she can align this into factor. And the system that she is testing in, that system is already in production. It is being used by that of the user. And because of the distributed nature of that of the application, and it is being verified by the people all across the globe, because the testing team is distributed, there has been a significant amount of defect leakage. And because of that, there has been a constant denial and finger pointing. Denial because no one wants to take the accountability of that of the bugs that have leaked. And because of that, the finger pointing culture has little bit creeped into the ecosystem. So now let's understand what exactly Emily did to tackle this challenge. Emily went in for a solution-focused approach that is called as the MBT. MBT is a model-based testing. For a layman, you can think that MBT is for improving the workflows. It is something like a digital twin. It is that you prepare a model of that of the system and then you test against that model. That model will be comprising of a lot of inputs, outputs, then flows and actions. And when they are coupled with that of the system requirements, then it will be giving you the exact behavior of the system. So here, Emily was given a responsibility of one particular module. So she did a POC of that module. She prepared the model, then created that the parts and pieces that should be in that of the sequence and ensured that every flow was there in the model. And with a single click of that of the button, she could generate that of the abstract test cases. And these test cases also were mapped to that of the systematic requirements. And these test cases was only not used for verification, but they could be fed into that of the automated system for automation. One important aspect of using this model was which she leveraged the online marketing tools, online tools for doing this model-based testing, is that could generate that of the test scripts with a button click. The count of that of the test cases was also minimum, but it ensured the complete coverage. So how did she apply it to the challenges that she was facing? This not only helped in giving out a good coverage, but this also brought up early detection of the irregularities in that of the system requirements. She ensured that the coverage was met, and because there is frequent updates in that of the system, even if there is an update which is coming in, one thing she has to do is she has to change that of the model that she has done. That model can be visualized, it can be discussed with that of the seniors and the business analyst, and then you ensure that the coverage is met. For me, the approach that Emily followed for this makes me think that she is an accountable leader. Here, she not only accepted the challenge, but she turned it into an opportunity to unleash the true potential. She was being bold and courageous to induce the change, not even being in the formal authority. Remember, she is having like 2 to 3 years of experience. She is not into the role who will be taking the authority of changing that of the testing approach, but she came up with some system that is actually generating that of the results. Rather than following to that of the testing processes that were already existing, she came up with something which is new and something which is generating a good amount of result. And because of this was gradually accepted by the team, and this reduced the defect leakage ratio. And one major aspect of Emily was, because of the production bugs, she could get a chance to interact with that of the customer. She could understand the customers well. And because of that, she could apply this approach in this journey. She is a positive inspiration for the people who shy away to share that of the great working ideas. But now she is like the epitome of success. For me, she is the person who is leading from the back, and I can definitely say to lead from the back, one need not to be in the front. With this, I want you to enjoy a 1-minute video correlating the main character in the video to Emily. Okay, it did not play. I would be sharing that of the video somewhere later because it is not playing. Okay. With this, okay. Nithin says that it won't work. Fine, because it is embedded maybe. Okay, with this, let's go on to the next slide and now discuss the story of Sarah. So Sarah is a team lead who is leading a team who takes care of the complex functions, meeting that of the customer needs of continuous testing. She has a team which actually runs long soak tests that take up like all night. There are tens of development teams who are relying on the test results every day. The system she works in is an enterprise-grade in-house test lab. Sarah has the experience of building, maintaining, and operating an enterprise-grade test lab. Starting from the location of the test lab to the design layout of the test lab and also the general requirements, that is the ventilations, the power supplies, the moving pieces, together with that of the first aid box, everything is in place. The application she is dealing with is a software that is running in this wide spectrum of devices. The enterprise lab consists of devices like starting from the count of 20 to like hundreds of devices consisting of laptops, implantable prototypes, mobiles, wireless routers, hotspots, and so on. Her responsibility is procuring R&D prototypes and setup availability to the team. Everything was set and everything was running at its own cadence. And then bam, COVID-19 crisis changes it all. Because of it, most of the countries in the world deciding to go in for the complete lockdown. In line with the directives, the corporations also changed their medium of operations to online and so as to ensure the well-being of the employees. This is the point when commuting became more of a mandate rather than a choice. The environment she is working in is a real device setup. And because of the operational changes, she is facing the challenge of segregating and creating exchangeable setups. the adaptability to the new ways of working, thinking out of the box for the quick turnaround. Yeah, I must say that this enterprise grade test lab is for the entire project and it is not limited to only the testing team. She has to do a lot of collaboration and the procurement, which should have been done in the normal processes. But now, with the COVID times, she have to really gear up. And then, thinking all of the solutions, she has to meet the project timelines. So let's go and discuss about what sort of solutions did Sarah apply. The first solution that Sarah came up with was she equipped people to do job wherever it is. The test lab had the setups which were used by the dev teams for doing that of the verification of the bug fixes and for running that of the unit tests. For them, she went ahead and made that a device which is available in the test lab by hiring a lab technician, so that the development team can take his or her help and do that of the continue with that of the processes. So one sort of aspect of the dependency on the dev team was solved. Secondly, she took safety and security seriously, as because they were high cost devices and they were devices related to that of the healthcare. So she had to take into account the security because there was a transit system which actually carried those setups to the people. So she hired the cabs. She also planned out of the routes of the cabs, and the cabs were in the constant surveillance. Third, she made arrangements for the setup transfer even within the same day. She laid out a plan. She had 2 to 3 backup setups. And then for the people who are living in the same city, like it is A, B, and C, she actually exchanged the setups with that of the time, restricted to the times. For example, if by 10 a.m. the setup has to be available to A, then by 6 p.m. the setups have to be available to B. So this is how within the day exchangeable setups arrangements was made. Fourth is she created an optimized solution with a cloud first approach. As I said, that the application she was running in needed the real device setup. So there were a lot of instances where the devices needed to be run in the same Wi-Fi connection or with the Bluetooth accessories. And also that devices that needed to be run in the same carrier networks. But every of the environmental instances cannot be simulated. But some of the instances that could be simulated, she went in for the cloud first approach. The fifth and the most challenging one was getting hold of their R&D prototypes from the alternate global resources. So it was planned that she would be getting some consignments from the source company. But because of the regulations and restrictions in place, she had to talk to the manufacturers and suppliers to get hold of the same prototypes directly from the factory outlet from the neighboring countries. For me, Sarah was an out-of-the-box thinker, because this is not the mundane routine activities that Sarah dealt with, but she was given that of the responsibility to keep that of the show running, and here she came up with the multiple solutions. For me, she was an example of the 360-degree leader. Why? Because she wore multiple caps. She played the role of a facilitator, working with others to achieve the results. She was a tactician, ensuring the business results are achieved. She is a contributor, applying personal capabilities to achieve results. Remember, one of her strengths was collaboration culture. She collaborated with the people, with the suppliers, with the manufacturers, to several departments in the industry to keep that of the ball rolling. She believed in delivering at every cost. She did one thing wonderful, that is, she took the leap. For me, she is an example of leap and the net will appear. She was courageous and bold enough to take these responsibilities. And once with this attitude, she could fit in the missing pieces of that of the puzzle together. And then she had a clear picture. With this, let's move to the story of Sam. So this is Sam. Sam is in the mid-senior level management. Sam is taking care of the team, a distributed team under his umbrella. Sam works in a system and works closely with the organizational leaders. His responsibility are he needs to improve the productivity of the team, interpreting the strategy of the top level management and translating into its policies. The environment he is working in currently is that the leadership has changed. So Sam is having altogether like 2 decades of experience of leadership, right? But what happens? He works parallelly with the top vertical and the vertical down below with the teams. So one of the 2 phases in the immediate leadership has changed. So that is it's his challenge, because every leader has its own way of working. And with the change in the immediate leadership, people want to make that of the processes that they align to. Different people, different processes. So with this, he has to inspire the employees to perform their best and to train them. He has to also play the role of a difficult task master, taking tough decisions and also being empathetic at the same time. He has to recreate the effective working environment. He has to ensure better deliverables and the last minute marketing concerns that leads to the change in that of the product at the very last moment. Actually, for Sam, I had prepared a video so that you could have heard the same from the horse's mouth. But as because of the technicalities, we will not be playing the video. I will be summarizing of what differently Sam did. So we might believe that people in that of the media management, the life is a little bit easy, but it's not. With every change in that of the leadership, they bring in and expect the people to behave their way. And you know what? Where is the challenge exactly? When they come up with the process to follow, and then you know exactly that it will not be delivering the ample amount of the results. That is, it is not the optimized solution. But the people, the leader want you to follow that process. That is exactly the same thing which was happening with the Sam. He knew that the process will not be delivering the results because it was tried and tested in the past with the past leaders. But he decided to go with that of the process. He took it as a challenge because he wanted the leaders to trust him in that of the journey. He also put in more number of efforts to be as corrective as possible. And in the process, the team, the vertical down, they were also intimidated because they did not want to change themselves to any new thing, right? A new thing is always a challenge. But he convinced them that why he was taking that of the process, and also he was more relatable to the team. He was empathetic with the team, and he built that trust concept in that of the team so that they could perform to their best. Even if they were lacking in something, he provided the ample sort of opportunities. Sometimes he had to be the hard task master. He had to be tough and he had to take the tough decisions. But in due course of time, that was taken well by the team and the team performed really well. For me, Sam is a person from whom I can learn that one who knows the way, goes the way, and definitely shows the way. With this, let's go to the recap. So I want here to take a moment and think about what is expected out of a tester. A tester is expected to deliver quality. He or she needs to have a certain kind of skill and knowledge. And also, they need to work in a team which is led by a leader which can apply the strategic approach and then can give you the results. And also to it, it is not a one-man show. It is as a team that we perform. Some people in the team may be doing the manual tasks, someone can be doing automation, someone talking to the business analyst, someone gathering the requirements, someone doing that at the test lab setup, and someone actually managing the team overall to be aligned with that of the policies. So, to be a star leader, a star team performer, you have to see and align yourself to the different components of it. The first component being what we really want. Second is what direction do you want to take? Third is the necessary skills and knowledge. Fourth is the strategic approach. And finally, and the most important one is venture out with hopes in many fronts. It is the most important one because when we follow any strategy, we go in, we leap in with that of hope that it would be generating the results. No one knows what is going to happen in that of the future, and that may be obstacles and the business challenges, but we have to deal it with that of the hope. That is where I can say that a leader is a dealer in a hope. The only way to lead people is to show them the future. With this, I want to discuss some of the myths which is around leadership. So leadership is nothing to do with the seniority or the hierarchy. It has nothing to do with that of the tags given to you. We have very well seen the example of Emily, where she was having 2 to 3 years of experiences, but she actually roared like a leader. Secondly, is it has nothing to do with the personal attributes. Some people do believe that they are born leaders, but I believe, and also the industry believes now, that the leaders can be trained. There can be a proper training and they can be turned into leaders. Leadership is not management. Leadership is something you show the way by going that way. It is not that you just blabber out something or you manage that of the people. No. Leadership is not motivation. It is not only influence. If you are motivating them, you have to be there with that of the team and you have to work out the way through. Leadership cannot be taught. Definitely it can be taught. With this, I want to conclude my presentation. A big thank you to you for being a wonderful audience.
Wow, what a talk that was. What an energy and what storytelling. Well done, Chinmayee.
Thank you. I missed on the videos. I had really prepared them. I really wanted to show them to you.
That's okay. Maybe you can these are like the technical difficulties are a part of life, you know. So maybe get prepared, anticipate all these things early on, and kill it next time. You killed it this time for sure.
Thank you.
Cool. So let's ask what our judges felt like. Let's start with Ajay.
Right. So, Chinmay, two things. One, your voice is great, so keep up the tempo, the pace, the modulation. Continue doing that. And the other point I wanted to highlight is maybe take a look at one of the YouTube talks called "Death by PowerPoint." The highlight is how to place text on a slide, how to get the audience to focus on a particular text on the slide, especially if you have a lot of text, like 5 lines, 10 lines, how to make the audience stay with you rather than they reading the eighth line and you are talking about the second line, right? So I think that talk taught me a lot. So yeah, just a suggestion for you. Other than that, your voice is great. Yeah, story was a bit long, but yeah, stories are that, right? So it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay. Can you just ping me that name? I will definitely search it in YouTube.
Yeah,
I
sure.
just missed somehow the name. Yeah.
It's Death by PowerPoint.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, I can also vouch for that. That's like one of the wonderful videos. Yeah, I think that was from Was that Simon? Was that
It's
Simon?
not Simon. It's someone else.
Okay.
I'll find out.
Yeah, I like
J. Phillips or something.
Yeah, it's David Phillips.
David Phillips. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thanks, Ajay. Lena, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Chinmayee. That is, by the way, also one of my favorite YouTube videos. It changed my presentation game completely. You have you have an amazing voice. You have an amazing presence. It's like I actually stopped looking at the slides. So if they were having too much information, I didn't notice because I was listening to you. So you have a strong presence, and maybe I should have paid more attention to the slides. I really liked the stories. I liked how you ended each story with summarizing why you felt they were good examples of leaders and like why you felt it was relevant. I love how you use your voice. You vary your speed, you vary your style of talking. You're very alive, and that always makes it fun to watch. One of the few things I would change is that you had the perfect one-liner to end the talk before the leadership myths. And I was like, oh, I really wished it would have stopped here because it was the perfect ending. So that's, if you could switch things around a bit, I think that was like the perfect ending.
Okay.
But thank you so much. It was a lovely talk. I enjoyed listening to it a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, I too felt like that, Lena. I was like, okay, that's my cue to come in. There were 5 stars. I thought, okay, I'm giving you 5-star rating, and then there was this about leadership. So yeah, I thought that was a logical end to the talk as well. And one thing I noticed was, I think your filler word is that. I have different filler words. I'm like trying to control that. Your talk, when you listen to it, maybe, or it might be just me. I heard lot of that's coming my way, and I'm like, why is that? Why is that needed in that sentence? So that was like a lot smooth. That's in the way you talk, or yeah, maybe something for future. We can listen and then maybe correct it.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you. Thank you, judges. Okay, Chinmayee. So, how has been your journey in Supervoice? What has Supervoice given you?
Supervoice has given me a platform to actually share my views. Even if I have got some compliments in the process, I never knew I had that quality. So I am very much thankful to Supervoice. Again, with the first episode, I was selected by one of the judge for one international conference talk, and I was really delighted to be the part of it. And this talk, especially today's one, added is of utmost importance to me because I have worked in the industry and never got an opportunity to have a candid discussion with the managers or the people in the leadership I was working with. But Supervoice did give me an opportunity to talk with them candidly, and people were so open to share their experiences. I was like taken aback. I thought that why didn't I do it in my earlier phases? And they are so they are so willing to share their experiences. So it was amazing experience, and it is really going an amazing journey with supervisors.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, every day is a school day, isn't it? You kind of like learn something from each and every one daily.
Like for you, from you, I like your presence. You have a very pleasant presence.
Thank you. Thank you. You just made my day. Cool. And love you here as well, Chinmay. And fingers crossed for you to be the top finalist and then be part of our grand finale as well. All the best. Keep growing, keep soaring to different heights, and we'll look out for you in the testing community as well. Whenever you're going for a different conference or something like that, do a shout out for Synapse QA because we are behind you, cheering for you wherever you go.
Absolutely. Synapse QA rocks.
Yay! Yes, yes. Thank you, Jen. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day ahead. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Hello again. Uh,
Hello.
be- Before we wind up the session, we wanted to ask you a few questions and your thoughts on Synapse QA and Supervise as well. So, first of all, thank you for so much for being a part of our judging panel right from the start till the end, even the grand finale. But we wanted to ask your thoughts on all the competitive rounds so far, because this is the final round before the grand finale. So, starting with you, Ajay, what do you think is the one positive aspect of Supervise so far? And then, what is the one thing which we could improve as Synapse QA team for conducting events like this in future?
Yeah, so the good thing I feel is people getting live feedback. Um, and the thing that needs to maybe improve is shorten the duration and have it in a 1 or 2 days, like a Saturday, Sunday, and wrap it up. Uh, right. So it's okay if people see many a times what happens is even though the feedback is given, they need more time to implement that feedback. And even if you give 2 weeks time, some of that still stays with that speaker. So uh, a competition is not the best place to implement feedback, is my feeling. So have it in a shorter time duration, give the feedback, and maybe do it more often, but not stretch one event for like so many weeks is my thought. Yeah, but again,
Okay, thank you, thank you. That's a valid one. Yeah, I'm sure we'll take that feedback and work on it, and hopefully the next whatever events we have got in store for 2023 would be much more fine tuned with finesse. Thanks, Ajay. Lena, what do you think, Lena? The same
Um,
question.
I think the best part has been seeing how the contestants have actually improved. I was not expecting this big of a change in the way they do the presentation, so that's been awesome, and also very very fun to do. I liked that it was spread out. Maybe we could like collect it, maybe not as spread out, but it's easier for me to commit to a few hours every week than it is to like spend several days fully. I think we could work on some clearer feedback criteria to focus on is something I think we could do for next season.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Lena. And it warms my heart when you say that you have seen contestants' progress, because that's essentially what we are trying to do in Synapse QA, bring those voices to a stage where other people could actually hear those voices, and it's about like finding the next sort of like super voice. So thank you so much. One more question, if I may. I will start with Lena. We know grand finale is approaching. This is the final episode. So, what are your thoughts, or like, what are you looking forward for the grand finale?
Oh, I hope we get to see contestants take more risks, doing something daring that they are slightly uncomfortable with.
Okay, that's a nice challenge. Okay, contestants, are you taking notes? Thank you, Lena. What about you, Ajay? What are you excited more about the grand finale?
yeah, maybe something new to learn. Uh, Maybe someone trying out a tough topic and then diving deep. So yeah, hopeful for that.
Okay, it's a lightning talk. So, what do you think could be a tough topic to cover in 10 minutes, which is also deep?
People have done a lot of talks in within like 99 seconds at test bash, 8 minutes at test flick. So time ideally doesn't matter. It's just the talk. either you teach, you inspire, or discuss. So take up a tough topic, come out of your comfort zone. This is just the start. Though it's a finale, take it as a start of your speaking career, and yeah, do the unbelievable. Surprise us all.
Perfect. Okay. Contestants, have you heard it? I know we have got only three contestants on this episode now, but I think all the contestants need to know this. If both the judges have given you challenges, so hopefully people raise up to the challenge and we have a grand, epic grand finale. Thank you so much, Lena and Ajay, for spending your time with us, not only for this episode, but throughout the journey. We love you and we appreciate all your time and effort and your thoughts and everything you have done for the testing community. You are all pioneers and inspiring leaders. Please do that because you are all awesome for what you are doing for the community as well. So thank you for being a part of Synapse QA. And we'll see you on the grand finale. Wow, what a fantastic episode this has been. Very informative and fun at the same time. Massive thanks to our judges and contestants who have shared their knowledge and thoughts today. This recording will be available on Synapse QA's YouTube channel. Subscribe it and follow us on all the social media platforms. You know where they are. Now, time for some announcements. First, Raman, our beloved contestant, couldn't attend the playoffs round due to personal circumstances. So sadly, he would be disqualified and can't proceed further in the competition. This means we have 8 contestants fighting to move forward into the grand finale. Only the top 3 would proceed based on the cumulative scores from judges so far on all the rounds and by audience's votes. Yes, you, our lovely audience, will have a poll and then you can support your favorite contestant and bring them and cheer them to the grand finale. There will also be social media contest and cool swags can be won. So audiences, watch out the space. Don't miss all the fun and share the love on the social media platforms. Next, I feel honored to share this with all of you for the very first time in Super Voice. The prizes, and there are loads of them. There are cash prizes for the title winner. The title winner would get 200 US dollars. First runner up would get 150 US dollars. Second runner up would get 100 US dollars. That is a Best New Voice award. And they would have a speaker coaching session with the lovely Iona, who is a leading voice coach. And you would have seen her interview with us in Synapse QA early on before Super Voice started. So that voucher is around 300 euros. So if you get awarded Best New Voice, you are getting a session with Iona fully funded by Super Voice. Again, there is more. First one is certification exam vouchers. So 3 contestants would get those based on the special jury mentions. Each certification is around 300 US dollars worth. There are consolation prizes for 2 other contestants, which would be 50 US dollars each. All of the contestants will receive digital set credentials. The title winner and the best new voice gets a chance to speak at Synapse QA's conference in 2023. Wow. I think I need a drink now because there were like so many prizes, and then it's all sponsored by Synapse QA and our lovely sponsors, Uilicious and episode partners ProR and Brightest. Thank you so much, sponsors, for supporting us in this journey. I am so excited. I can't wait to find out who makes it to the grand finale. The date would be out soon, and this is going to be somewhere in November. So follow us on our social media handles to find out when is this grand finale happening, how you can participate, get involved in the poll, vote for your favorite contestants, and then get them to the finale. Thank you for listening, participating, and being a part of this fantastic journey so far. This is me, Kika, your fabulous host, signing off with the Supervoice team and the Synapse QA team. Have a lovely day, everyone.